So for game 2, we have got Lexi and Briar versus the Wizards, Blaze and Icelynder. Now the Lexi Briar deck, I'm basically just going to call Lexi deck because most of the deck is based around Lexi. Briar's just kind of a bonus to get some of extra elemental cards. And to start us off, we've got a Frost Hex from the Wizards, making the Frostbites deal 1 damage if they pop in the end phase. Now, we're going to talk about some equipment while we're getting set up. The Archer, the Ranger Lexis, using New Horizon, Grasp of the Arcanite, Null Rune Robe, Null Rune Boots, Voltaire Strikes Twice, and Enchanted Quiver, while the Wizards are using Talismanic Lens, Fendel Spring Tunic, Metacarpus Node, Storm Striders, and Waning Moon. And to start Lexi's turn, we're getting Voltaire activation, choosing +1. Then we see them fire a Widowmaker for 5. We see an immediate block with the Talismanic Lens, thinking about the second card he wants to block with. Choosing to block with an Aether Ice Vein, taking 2 damage, going down to 33, and going to create an Embodiment of Earth for Lexi, off of Briar's ability. But we get the Wizards playing an Insidious Chill, giving Lexi a Frostbite, and in the end phase, the Frostbite is going to deal 1 damage to Lexi, dealing 1, going down to 39. That's at the end of Lexi's turn, so we are going to get a pass back to the Wizards. Eventually. We're going to go to the cleanup here soon. There's the Embodiment of Earth that Briar created. We're just kind of clearing up that the Frostbite is dealing an arcane damage because it's popping in the end phase. All right, moving to cleanup. The Wizards remember that they have a Tunic, and they put the Tunic counter to 1. The Wizards just move to Arsenal and pass back over to Lexi. So starting Lexi's turn, we're going to get a Lexi activation, gaining a 2nd Arsenal from New Horizons. Unfortunately, I don't get to see the Arsenals and the feats in my camera shot. Either need to get a different lens or get a taller stand. But, you know, it's our first game, so the first time we're doing this, so we're going to have some hiccups. We're seeing Voltaire activated. Loading a headshot. We're getting a headshot for 6, go again. We get a Blizzard from the Wizards, targeting headshot, creating a Frostbite for Lexi. Team Lightning just go ahead and pays for the Blizzard to keep the go again. Wizards still on blocks, trying to decide what they're going to do. We see a full block for 6. And then we move to go again. Still has this Frostbite. Yep, just remember they have that Frostbite now. Then we fire a Murkmire Grapple for 4. Wizards block with a Scour. Take 1. Going down to 32. And then Briar makes an Embodiment of Earth for Lexi. Then we get an Arsenal pass. Moving back over to the Wizards' turn. We get an activation of Talismanic Lens. Opting 2. Going to trigger Blaze. Going to give her a couple counters. Her first 2 counters for the game. We remember that we have Tunic. It's a little too late, but it's okay. We're playing at locals. Wizards cast a red Ice Bind for 3 Arcane. Lexi currently only has Arcane Barrier 2 available to her, so unless she plans on using the Quiver, she's only going to be able to AB 2. So takes 1 Arcane off of the 3 damage there, but it was not fused, so their arsenal is not frozen. But that's going to be the end of the Wizard's turn. Passing back to Lexi. We get a Lexi activation. Flipping up their arsenal. We get a bow activation. Choosing go again off the bow. Priority window check. Choosing not to do anything in his priority. We see Lexi firing off a Frostlock for 3 go again. Wizards do not block, so they take 3 damage going down to 29, creating an Embodiment of Earth from Briar. Then we see Lexi shoot a Skybound shot for 5. Getting no blocks from the Wizards, going down to 24, then pass back to the Wizards. Now the Wizards' turn. Wizards take up their Tunic. If they didn't last turn to 3, well, it's at 3 now, so now they're going to use that Tunic. They're going to play an Ice Eternal. Yeah, I've watched the game before, so I have some notes, so I know that he comes back and he actually plays this Ice Eternal. Pitching 4 into it, triggering Insidious Chill, and triggering Metacarpus Node. Showing the Insidious Chill trigger. Making him pay or discard. Lexi decides to pitch into the Insidious Chill. Yeah, there we get the Metacarpus Node activation, buffing the Ice Eternal. Responding to the Ice Eternal. We get a Kindle. Amping one and drawing a card. So now we get to resolve the Ice Eternal, creating 2 Frostbites. I think this is coming in now for 4 damage. The AB1 take 3 damage from the ice spell. I think we're just getting an arsenal and passing from the Wizards. Back to Lexi. We get a Lace with Bloodrot, paying 2 for the 2 Frostbites. Then we see a Seek and Destroy, adding a second on hit to this arrow that he's firing. Briar creates an embodiment of lightning, and then immediately uses it for the Sick'em Shot. Sick'em Shot for 10 with Go again. Sick'em Shot's got the on hits of Seek and Destroy and this Lace of Bloodrot, so this could be an arrow for 12, technically. So we see the Wizards block a total of 9 here, and then use, what is this, Absorb the Aether and Storm Striders, and then send an Emeritus Scolding for 8 damage. No AB from Lexi, so they take 8 damage going down to 27, and then no further reacts. They take that 1 damage, and then they get infected with that Blood Rod. And the Seek and Destroy on hits as well. The Wizards are now down to 23. Going to the Wizards' turn. They just pass right back, take 2 of the Blood Rot, going down to 21. They don't forget the Tunic this turn, though. So now it's Lexi's turn. Lexi just pitches to the bow, choosing +1, then shoots a Infecting Shot for 5. We see the Wizards block a total of 6, including a Fate Foreseen, which opts, putting a counter on Blaze. Then we see Lexi use a Lightning Press on the Infecting Shot, pushing it to 8 damage. We get no further reacts from the Wizards, so they take 2, going down to 19 and getting another Bloodrot Pox. Team Lightning then arsenals and passes. I say Team Lightning because Lexi and Briar are both Lightning cards, and the player here definitely mentioned that they were here to get Go again off of the arrows. So we see the Wizards pitch into the Bloodrot Pox, as well as taking their Tunic up and passing right back to Lexi. We get a Deadwood Dirge popping the Frost Hex here. Technically, we let the Deadwood Dirge resolve before we do this, because I remember he ends up shuffling back the Frost Hex. But on res, as the rune chants are being made, priority window, in the next available priority window, we see the Remembrance shuffling back 3 cards from the graveyard back into the deck, including the Frost Hex. But pretty value play, getting rid of a Frost Hex, something that's dealing a bunch of damage to you, well, potential damage to you, and then making 3 rune chants. And I will note that the Wizards do not have Arcane Barrier on them, so any rune chants that Briar ends up making, the Wizards will take. So now we actually get to resolve the Deadwood Dirge. Now we're seeing that. There was the priority window where you can activate the Remembrance, and now we're seeing that Remembrance actually be activated here. Not technically where it was shown, but now we can actually get that Frost Hex back into the deck. Then we see a Searing Shot for 4, along with 3 rune chants. Wizards take the 3 rune chants, like I mentioned. Full block this arrow. Now we see an Endless Arrow for 4 here. No blocks from the Wizards. Go down to 12. We see an embodiment of Earth created off of Briar. The Team Lightning shoots a salvage arrow for 5. No blocks. Wizards go down to 7, and the on hit of the arrow puts it back onto the bottom of the deck. And we see an Arsenal pass. Now on the Wizards' turn, we got the Tunic up to 3, and then passing back to Team Lightning. And Team Lightning starts the turn with a Rapid Fire, giving all arrows go again for the turn, and then at instant speed, the Wizards play a Channel Lake Frigid from Arsenal, creating a Frostbite under Lexi's control. Now we see an Endless Arrow for 4. 4 with go again because of the Endless Arrows. We get a full block on the Endless Arrows. We load with the bow. Just kidding. So instead of loading with the bow, we just make a rune chant. We see instant speed Channel Lake Frigid putting in some work. We also see at instant speed a Waning Moon for 3 damage. Looks like 3 damage. And that's at the end of Lexi's turn. So now we are going to move to the Wizard's turn, where we see them take Tunic up to 3. And then we just go to the end of the Wizard's turn. Wizard's letting Channel Lake Frigid die. And it's back to Lexi. We see Lexi pay to make another rune chant, have gone to 2 rune chants. Lexi attempting to go to the end phase. Wizards trying to hold their priority. Playing a Cindering Foresight, amping 1, opting 3, putting 3 counters on Blaze. We activate Blaze, taking some counters off of Blaze, so banishing and Emeritus Scolding. Then we see a pitch, casting the Emeritus Scolding for 7. Then we see Lexi AB2, and then take a total of 5, going down to 19. The Wizards activate Waning Moon, sending 3 Arcane, AB2, taking 1, going down to 18. Then Lexi arsenals a card and passes. On this turn, we see the Wizards tick the Tunic up, play a Read the Ripples, and then move to end. Read the Ripples, ops 1, ops 1, ops 1. Decides to take the top card, and they put 3 Blaze counters on Blaze, and then draw a card in Arsenal. Going back to Lexi's turn, Lexi leads us off with a yellow Malefic Incantation, and then follows it up with a Bramble Spark, creating an embodiment of lightning, being its Lexi's second action, non-attack action specifically. This is off of the Briar. We've got 3 Arcane live, which you know the Wizard's going to have to take. I think at this point you definitely know the win condition is sending Arcane at them, but can you create enough Arcane before they eventually send more Arcane than you can deal with? We see the bow activation. We see the Wizards play Whisper of the Oracle from the Arsenal, opting to putting 2 counters on Blaze. Then we see Lexi firing an arrow. Eventually. We've got it loaded. All right, we get a Bolton shot from Arsenal, firing 3 Arcane off of the 2 Rune Chants and the Bramble Spark. Of course, Wizards have to take that. And then this arrow Bolton shot is coming in for... I'm not sure, but it gets full blocked here with a total of 2 cards, one of them being Favor Scene, opting and putting counters on Blaze. Then we see immediately activating Blaze, taking 2 counters off to play a Frosting, which creates a Frostbite under Lexi's control. And then we see a Waning Moon activation, dealing 4 damage from the staff because we pitched the Will of Arcana. Pretty sure we got an AB2 out of Lexi for the Frosting, and then the Waning Moon damage went through, putting them to 15. We just see the Wizards tick Tunic up to 2 and pass right back. We see a Lace with Inertia from Lexi. Then we activate Voltaire, choosing +1. Loads an arrow. Fires the infecting shot for 9, creating a rune chant, and then making a rune chant in the back. Takes the rune chant because he can prevent it, and that happens before blocks. So now at 3 damage, or 3 life, any 3 damage would win the game. We get an initial block of 5, and then a Fate Foreseen for 4, full blocking this infecting shot, and then the Fate will put a counter on Blaze. We just go to the end phase, moving back over to the Wizard's turn. The Wizards tick up their Tunic, pass right back. We see Lexi start with an Overflex, buffing their next arrow and reloading. Then we see a Voltaire activation, choosing +1. And then we see a Cold Wave for 10 damage, and 1 rune chant. Immediately takes the 1 rune chant, going down to 2. Now has to find a way to block 10. We see a Cold Snap from Arsenal, attempting to freeze a card in their arsenal and gives them a Frostbite because it's a blue card, playing at instant speed. Drawing a card because it was played from Arsenal. And then we see a full block of the hand. Because it looks like that card depitched does not block, so he had to do that to draw a card that blocks to not die. But it does look like the Cold Snap was not paid for. And then just lets the Arsenal get frozen. Lexi does have a Frostbite under their control, but it gets popped in the end phase. And, of course, Wizards have no hand. Their Tunic's already at 3, so we just see them draw up and move back to Lexi. We see Lexi activating Grasp of the Arknight, creating a rune chant. Wizards use their priority window to activate a blue Polar Cap for 2, Ice Fusing, triggering an Insidious Chill, and then making Lexi pitch or discard. Yeah, we got the takesies, backsies, and then we actually cast the card we want to cast. Polar Cap, there we go. Polar Cat for 2. Yep. And then we get that Ice Insidious Chill trigger. And we see him pitch. Team Lightning plays Voltaire's ability, or activates Voltaire at instant speed to load an arrow. And then once they have the arrow face up in their arsenal, they activate the quiver to prevent 2 arcane damage, fully blocking this Polar Cap. It's really deciding what Lexi wants to do. Just kind of looking over her options. We got 1 damage accounted for with the Rune Chant, just really trying to decide how that last point of damage can be done, if it can be done this turn, or if we got to wait for the next turn. But you can almost guarantee that this game is coming to a close. Unless the Wizards can find a way to do 15 damage in between this turn and the next turn. So we're in a dire moment. So we see that Lexi fires Remorseless. We get the Rune Chant, dealing the damage, and we get a full block of the Remorseless. Alright, moving to the Wizards' turn. Wizards take up their Tunic to 1. And then pass back to Lexi. So Lexi starts the beginning of the turn with activating Grasp, creating a Rune Chant. We see Lexi activate Voltaire, and then we see the Wizards respond to it. Use that opportunity to activate Blaze, banish an Emeritus Scolding. They cast a Cindering Foresight, resolving, and then activating Waiting Move for 3, taking Lexi all the way down to 3, going to 12. Then we see the Wizards cast the Emeritus Scolding for 6. No AB from Lexi. Lexi taking 6 damage, going all the way down to 7 now. Or, sorry, down to 6. Then we resolve the bow, putting a Widowmaker into the arsenal, and then firing the Widowmaker. And then we see the 1 Rune Chant damage, absolutely destroying the Wizards. So that is the end of the game. We see Lexi and Briar taking it. So thank you for watching this elemental battle between some Wizards and the Runeblade / Rangers. So next game, you're going to see me. I'm in the next game. Be there for that.